Hello, welcome to Pure Energy Connections, the art of awakening in truth, wisdom, and inner healing. Now, this is shared methods of obtaining wellness, peace, healing, abundance, and success, privacy and security. And I'm the founder and creator of Pure Energy Connections and VI Meditation. And today I have a special guest with one of my best friends, actually, Fred Foster. Now, he obtained a BS degree from Eastern Michigan University as a mathematics major and a physics minor, and then became a scientific and business computer programmer. But the best part is after retiring, Fred learned about a special, all natural, bioavailable product that had amazing qualities and which were discovered by an atomic scientist too. So Fred is the president of Vitella for over 13 years. And I'll let Fred tell the rest of this amazing story and how this product is helping thousands of people today. Fred, are you ready?
I am ready, DJ.
Yeah, thank you for being here today. This is so exciting because I use your product and I'm just excited that the audience is going to hear all of the things that it can do.
Well, thank you. And it's my privilege to be able to share this information with you. I've actually shared it now with hundreds of thousands of people in the last 13, 14 years that I've been doing this. But it is very exciting. And the reason it's so exciting for me is because it has absolutely changed my life, DJ. You know, before I discovered it, I was severely crippled with arthritis and I was so crippled that I couldn't even sign my name anymore. I had to get a signature stamp, and so couldn't raise my arms above my head or even above my shoulders. And
Mhm.
but when I discovered these minerals, like you mentioned, in just 4 days, I was completely uh, without any of the symptoms anymore of the severe arthritis that I had been in many months and years. So
Amazing.
anyway, that's why I'm excited to be able to share this with your guests today and my guests and yeah, how would you like me to go ahead and start this, DJ?
Well, let everyone know what this product does, as far as the hydration, the structuring, what it does, all of the components of it, which I find very exciting because there's really no other product like it on the market.
Well, there is not, and that is what is so exciting is that this product, it's a liquid product and it's all natural. It comes from volcanic regions in the world, and as you mentioned, discovered by an atomic scientist. And when he discovered these minerals, come to find out it was able to do a lot of things in purifying the water and so on. So what what it did for me now, when you add these liquid minerals to your water, it will structure the water. It will change the water into a water that is easily available to get uh, into your body. It will hydrate your body at a whopping 32% cellular hydration. And compare that to normal water, it's only 3 to 4% cellular hydration. But this, it when it structures the water, DJ, what happens is that the the large H2O molecules that are all gathered together in either a long string or a huge cluster, they are broken down into small clusters of just um, six H2O molecules that are hooked together in a hexagonal format. And so, because now instead of 32 or 64, 128 H2O molecules that are hooked together trying to get into your body, a small uh, group of just six can get into your body much faster. And that is the reason why it hydrates our body so far at 32%. If you compare that with, say, Gatorade, which the scientists invented to hydrate the sports athletes, that's only an 8% cellular hydration, DJ. But this is 32%. It's four times better than even the ones the scientists invented. So um, when you add these minerals to water, it structures the water, it breaks it down into small clusters. But what else it does, it frees up the toxins that have been held captive in our water. Um, when you have regular water, whether it's your well water or your tap water from your municipal water supply company or whatever, it has a lot of toxins in it. And when you add the minerals, it breaks those toxins down, and it's called agglutination, and it will then allow those small particles to come out of the water. And then the next thing it does, they start to accumulate with each other. They start attaching to each other. Um, that's called flocculation. They start to flocculate together. And then the next thing that happens is it gets so big and heavy that they fall to the bottom of the container of that water. And in that process, these toxins are burned up by the minerals that have been added to the water. And so the results are that when the toxins fall to the bottom, they are burned up and they fall to the bottom as ashes. But now this is a full chemical change that has now taken place on these toxins. And so these toxins are no longer um, harmful to the body. They're now inert. And if you swallow these toxins in the form of ashes, it'll just pass right through your body and it
Mhm.
will not harm you like they do before they are chemically changed like that. So that's kind of what happens when these minerals are added to your water. Um,
You know what
and
would be,
so
you know what,
now,
Fred, that reminds me is that a lot of people are on the road, okay, driving and they get thirsty and they pull over and they get, a jug of plastic water that has plastics and chemicals
mm,
in it. So if they had their drops with them, your drops, they can place 8 to 10 drops in that plastic container. That'll help reduce and bring down all the chemicals from the plastics that water has been
yes,
in.
it does.
And people don't realize that that water, when it's delivered to the convenience store or wherever they get it, is that water's traveled through heat and a hot truck, a semi truck. And that heat is what's making the plastics get into the water even better. So, yeah, so that would be something great for people to use, especially people that don't have filtration in their home also for drinking water.
That is correct. Yes.
Mhm.
So when I started adding the minerals to my water, just in a matter of 4 short days, my symptoms from my arthritis completely disappeared.
Amazing.
And after that, I could on my fifth day, I could make a complete fist. I hadn't been able to do that. I could sign my name. I could now pick up a pen and pencil. Couldn't do that before. I could wash my back and so on. And so my life was completely changed, DJ, after I discovered these minerals and ordered them and started using them myself in a very quick fashion. My life was completely changed. And it's for that reason that I started sharing these minerals with my friends and telling them, the great results that I got by starting to use these minerals. And so as a result of that, I now have many hundreds, thousands of stories now over these 14 years of all my friends and people that I started telling about the minerals. They could order them. And when they ordered them and started using them, then they shared with me their stories. And I have many stories that I can share about that, DJ.
Well, and what you're going through then to feel so great, and I know with myself too, is it's detoxifying the body. So if the cells are opening up because they're first time being hydrated, they're letting out the toxins. And then your water is helping remove them, flush them through the body. Am I saying that correctly?
Well, yes. In fact, kind of what happens now is that when you swallow the water that contains these minerals,
Hmm.
um, there's several things that it does, mainly three things that happens. The first thing is that we're getting trace minerals like we're not getting in our foods anymore. Because back in the 1930s and 40s, when the farmers started using all uh, the fertilizers and uh, pesticides and all the things to help grow their
Hmm.
fruits and vegetables, well, the minerals were removed from the soil, and because of that, we're not getting the vitamins or the minerals that we need in our food, and so what happens is that today you would need to eat 10 oranges to equal the amount of goodness that you would get out of a single orange back in your grandparents' day. So,
Hmm.
that's one of the things is that when you add the minerals to the water, now you drink this water, you get um, these trace minerals that now are added to our body that we desperately need. And then the second thing, just like when you add the minerals to water in a jar or in your jug, whatever, um, and it does detoxify, it also detoxifies the poisons or the toxins that's in our body as well. And so they start to come out of your body. And so it detoxifies you. And then the third thing is that it reduces the stress in your body because there's all kinds of stress, and these minerals will help our body become de-stressed as well. Whether it's physical stress or mental stress or chemical stress or spiritual stress. There's all kinds of stresses, and
Hmm.
these minerals in your water will help to do that as well. And so, DJ, what really takes place in our bodies is that because of the buildup of toxins in our body, uh, it causes our immune system to start to shut down. And when these three things, happen, where we have a lack of trace minerals and a buildup of toxins in our body. And then the stress, what happens is our immune system starts to shut down and it can no longer fight off the pathogens that enter our body. And
Hmm.
so when I started drinking this mineral water, then it supplied my body with the trace minerals. It detoxed my body, and I need to share with you some of the detoxing systems uh, uh, that happened to me and how my body detoxed. And then it also took care of some of the stress. And when your body takes care of these three things, it causes our body's own immune system to get back into balance again and start to be able to fight off the pathogens. It gets us back into what we call homeostasis, gets us back into balance again. And when you're in balance, then your body's own immune system can fight off disease and illness and sickness and that kind of thing. So that's kind of that that's what went on in my own body, DJ. And so in a very quick time, in just a matter of 4 days, in 5 days, I was back up and doing things that I hadn't done for 30 years. I felt 30 years younger
Wow.
after 5 days on these minerals. So it was very, very amazing.
And I want the audience to know too that there's a bottle to the right of Fred, and they come in 16 and I think 32-ounce Fred, and that is
Wow.
concentrated. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that lasts, yeah, hold it against your body. There you go.
Yeah.
And that lasts a long time because you're only putting like 6 to 10 drops in an 8-ounce glass of water. Now, if you're doing it for more of a detox, if you have some issues, health issues, then the pamphlet that comes with it actually explains how much more you can use. And there's um, what is it, Fred? I think it's a teaspoon that they would put in the 8 ounces of water. Is that right?
No, a
Some
teaspoon
people,
in a gallon will treat a whole gallon of water.
well,
And
the treating, yeah, but I
that's
mean,
what we call our treated water for
right.
drinking water, for washing your fruits and vegetables and that kind of thing. Yes.
Yeah. But if you want to then work on an issue that you have, instead of just putting the 8 to 10 drops in your 8-ounce water from that water, of course, then you can do like a super shot. right? Where you can do, because
Right.
I'm doing actually a lot more, in just my glass of water that I'm drinking.
And the pamphlet that we send with the minerals explains all that. And it says that actually it's based on your body weight. If you would add an extra teaspoon of these minerals to a glass of your water
Hmm.
uh, for every 100 pounds that you weigh, then that's what we call a booster drink. And you're calling it a super shot, which is
Yeah.
what it is. And so that's part of the instructions that we have with minerals that we send out with every bottle.
Yes. So people that are having some other health issues, they can be more aggressive with it, I guess is what I was trying to say. So that's awesome.
Well, let me share with you. Let me share with you just how what happened with me, DJ. When I got well, I'll call it a healing. Remember, the minerals don't do the healing. The minerals get your body back into homeostasis, back into balance, so that it's your own immune system. So
Hmm.
that's a disclaimer that I have to make is that the minerals will not heal, cure, treat, or prevent any disease. They don't do that. But what they do is they get your body back into homeostasis so that your body's own immune system can do that and react on the toxins, poisons that's in your body and so on that has taken you down, made you sick and ill and ultimately diseased. But
Well,
yeah, so I started handing these out.
I was just going to say,
I started
I,
handing these out to my friends. Yes,
mhm.
go ahead.
Well, I wanted to mention to the audience too, when they hear minerals or trace minerals, is that I've been using trace minerals my whole life and I've never felt hydrated. I never felt anything that yours does. And on top of that, when I started using your product, Fred, I don't feel as thirsty because, and I figured it out all by myself, is that I'm actually hydrating for the first time. So I don't feel like I have to have a glass of water sitting in front of me all the time. I don't have to jump in my car and make sure I have my water with me because I'm not as thirsty as I was. I'm drinking water, but I'm just not as thirsty. So it's because it is hydrating me. But your mineral water or your minerals are the only ones that really can do this. Because I've tried a lot of minerals in my life. Nothing does what your product does.
Well, that's true, DJ, and it's because of the source of these minerals. They're from
Mhm.
volcanic regions, and they're all natural. They come from deep within the earth, and when you start consuming these minerals, what happens is that it does hydrate you, and it satisfies that longing
Mhm.
for water, because water is very important to have,
Mhm.
and so that's what happens. You do get hydrated and you feel refreshed and so on. So uh, when I started sharing these minerals with my friends, oh man, I have so many stories I could share with you now. Um, well, 1 week after I started on these minerals myself, I was a financial manager of our church, and my assistant treasurer had sugar diabetes really bad,
Mhm.
and his name was Harry, and I went over to Harry's house, 1 week after I started the minerals myself. Now, Harry was a type 2 diabetic, and when he pricked his finger, Harry's reading was in the 600s. He was on 3 prescription meds for his diabetes. And when I went over there, I said, Harry, I have no idea if these minerals would help you at all, but they certainly have helped me. I brought some with me today, and I'd like to, let you have some and try them for yourself. And he said, well, are there any drugs involved? And I said, no, they're all natural. And he said, well, okay, I'll try them. So he did. The very next day, his readings went from 600 down to the 190s, from 600 in one day. And then the next day it went down to 170s. And the next day it went down to 130s. And the next day 115. And the next day 98. And the next day it was at 87. In 7 days, he was down to 87. And so he no longer had to take those 3 meds that he was prescribed. And and he didn't have to do any insulin anymore and any of that stuff. So uh, when he went back to his doctor, because you have to go every 3 months, and the doctor said to him, well, Harry, The last prescription that I gave you for your diabetes, I'm getting a lot of complaints by a lot of my customers that the side effects are very bad. And if you're having those same side effects, Harry, I'll take you off that one, put you on another one. Harry said, well, Doc, to tell you the truth, I haven't taken any of these three for 5 weeks now. The doctor said, well, Harry, you have to. Don't you realize it's a matter of life and death for you? You have to. And he said, but Doc, when I prick my finger, my readings are down. I don't have to. It doesn't indicate that I need anything. He said, Harry said, you got a lab right here. Go ahead, draw some of my blood and analyze it. So the doctor did, and he came back and he said, my land, Harry, I have never seen anything like this, where in a matter of a short and less than 3 months, it went from 600 down to 87. What in the world were you doing, Harry? Well, Harry
Mm.
didn't want to tell him. He didn't share. And finally, the doctor said, well, whatever it is, Harry, I consider it a miracle. Keep doing what you're doing. Well, so it's been years and years now that Harry has been down to the 87, drinking the
Wonderful.
minerals. Well, that's just one story. That was after 1 week of my being on the minerals. And then, I started handing these minerals out to other people at church. And I had to give a financial report on a Wednesday night. And I went to the church to meet with the committee. And one of the ladies across the room yelled over to me and she said, hey, Fred, how you doing? And I said, oh, man, I'm doing super fantastic. I'm doing so incredible. I can't believe it. Well, right then, the chairman of the committee called the meeting to order. So then I had to give my report and so on. After the report was done, that lady came running over to me and she said, Fred, I've been dying all meeting long to find out what in the world happened to you. Why are you so excited? And then I started to tell her about these minerals and about my arthritis and how and then, two other ladies joined our conversation. And and so one of them said, well, Fred, if that took care of that for you, what do you think it would do for me? She said, Fred, I've got this bone spur on the bottom of my right heel. And if you watch me walk, you notice I never touch my heel to the floor. I always walk on my tiptoe on my right hand, my right foot. So do you think you can help me with my problem? I said, well, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm too new at this. But here, I brought some with me and you can take some and try them yourself. She said, okay, I will. And then the second lady spoke up. She said, Fred, I've got this crick in my neck. I have to go to the chiropractor I have to go every 6 weeks. I'd go every week if I could, but insurance won't pay for it. So every time I go every 6 weeks, I get the treatment from the chiropractor and it helps, but it only lasts for 1 week, DJ. And then it comes back and I'm in misery and pain for 5 weeks. Do you think it would help me? I said, I don't know. I don't know. Here, take it, drink it like I did. Try it and see. And the third lady spoke up. She said, Fred, uh, I don't have any problems like these two ladies here. I'm fine. Would it hurt me to try it and to drink some of this mineral water? I said, no, it wouldn't hurt you at all. In fact, it may prevent you from getting these same things these other two ladies have gotten. So yeah, here's some. You take it and try it. Well, the very next Sunday, now that was Wednesday night. So the following Sunday, now, right after church, all three ladies came running over to me and said, oh, my land, Fred, we've got to share this. What happened with us while we took your minerals? The first lady said, Fred, remember my heel? And I said, yeah. Then she took and she stood on her right foot, heel to the floor, picked up her left foot and started hopping up and down
Ah,
on the floor.
oh,
And she said, Fred, in 3 days, it was gone. That bone spur was gone in 3 days, and it's still gone. I said, wow, that's wonderful. The second lady spoke up. She said, Fred, remember the crick in my neck? And I said, yeah. She said, well, on the third day, I heard this large snap that went on in my neck. And uh, and so what happened then is um, she realized she could turn her head right and left and up and down, and it was gone. The pain was gone in 3 days. And then third lady spoke up. She said, well, Fred, remember I said I didn't have anything like these other two ladies? I said, yeah. And she said, well, um, what I didn't know was that, I wasn't sleeping well at night at all. But after I started drinking this mineral water, I started sleeping through the night. I got the best sleep I've ever gotten. And I said, well, that's something then, isn't it? She said, yeah, it is. It was wonderful. So that was the first three ladies in the church that I started giving these minerals to, other than Harry, because it was after Harry. And
Mhm.
then after that, I have many hundreds of stories that I could share with you. And, as we have time, I'd love to share a bunch of stories with you.
Yes, no, that's incredible. And you've shared a few with me in the past with people that had much more serious issues too.
Well, let me tell you about this other lady in our church that went and had a pedigree uh, done on her feet, um, whatever they're called. But anyway, she had her heel scraped with one of these stones, and what she didn't realize, and the person that was giving her the treatment didn't realize that they nicked her heel, and so she went home that day, went to bed, and she got up the next morning and she noticed these red spots on her sheets down by her feet. And she looked, she's a nurse, like my wife is an RN as well, and she's a nurse. And so she examined her foot and saw this small little spot that was bleeding. And it was nicked from that stone from her foot treatment. And so she cleaned it and put on the triple antibiotic ointment for it. And um, just like she would one of her patients, and bandaged it up and thought, well, I took care of it. Well, she didn't take care of it. During that week, it got worse and worse. And finally,
Mhm.
before the week was over, she had to go to her doctor. And her doctor said, oh, honey, I wish you would have come to me sooner. You have staph infection in that foot now. You have
Oh,
staph. And so I'm going to put you on an 10-day oral antibiotic. And so she was put on that. And for the next 10 days, it didn't get any better. In fact, it got worse. So she went back to the doctor. He said, well, that one didn't work. Let's try a different one. So he put her on a second 10-day oral. That didn't work. So he put her on a third one. Now she spent a whole month on these 10-day oral antibiotics, and her foot got worse and worse. And when she went back, he said, oh, honey, that staph infection is now MRSA.
oh,
And in fact, it is so bad that what we need to do is we need to have you come to the hospital, and we'll put you on uh, we'll put in your chest, and we'll have to do a antibiotic that's a lot stronger, and
mm,
you have to come to the hospital and you have to sit for 2 hours for that to go into your body. Well, so now she got the cut on her foot back in March. All of April was spent with the 10-day oral antibiotics, and then all of May, June, July, August was spent. And by that time, that MRSA got worse and worse. By that time, that little speck of a cut, it developed into a cut that was 7 inches long, all the way to her bone. And they
mm,
were now going to amputate her foot, DJ. That's what they were
mm.
going to do. And that's the condition she was in when I discovered her. And when I found out what was going on, I said, I really would like you to try something. I want you to take these minerals that I have, and I want you to fill a little basin with it, and I want you to take all the bandages off your foot and pull out the stuffing that's in there and everything. I want you to soak your foot right in that mineral water. And she says, oh, is this something that's all natural? And I said, yeah, it is. She said, oh, Fred, I don't believe in that natural stuff. My doctor's treating me for this, and he got me under treatment. I said, yes, but he's going to cut your foot off. They're planning right now uh, with the health companies, with the insurance companies, to get permission for the amputation. And is that what you really want? Well, no. I said, what's it going to hurt? This is all natural. Just soak your foot in this. Just try it tonight. So she said, okay, she would. So she did. And so that night, she followed my directions. soaked her foot. The next morning, she got up to do exactly what she does every morning now for the last several months, is she takes all the bandaging off and she unpacks her foot and she cleans it and then repacks it and gets ready to go back to the hospital. And then the nurses there, they do the same thing. But, being a proud woman, she, didn't want him to smell all that horrible smell. And anyways, it's like the housewife that cleans her house before the housekeeper
Yeah.
comes. But anyway, that's what she did. And when she opened up the bandage that next morning, she saw it and she screamed. Her husband came running. What's wrong? What's happened? And she said, well, look, it's healed over 40% overnight. In one night, it was healed over 40%. And so she redid her foot and went back to the hospital. And the nurses then did it. And the doctors came to see, and they couldn't believe it, that the
Amazing.
healing just in one night had taken place because she had to go to the hospital every day, 7 days a week. Well, to make this story a little shorter, DJ, the following Sunday, remember, I gave it to her on Sunday. She went home, did it. The following Sunday, she came to church. She was not wearing that big plastic boot with a crutch anymore. She came to church with her normal shoes and socks. That was completely healed up in
Oh,
1 week. And she came
wow.
back in normal shoes and socks. That's just one story. I have
So,
so many.
so that's telling me too, which I don't have a tub, unfortunately, but soaking in your own tub with those minerals would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Oh, it sure is. That's actually what was developed by the medical doctor that first worked with these minerals. There were three parts to the protocol. And,
Mhm.
and the first part was just adding a teaspoon to a gallon of water. That becomes your drinking water, your treated water, what we call. And that's the water you would use to wash your fruits and vegetables. And then the second part is what you like to do, DJ, where you add the extra drops in. That's
Mhm.
called a booster drink. And that's where you add an extra teaspoon to a glass of water for each 100 pounds that you weigh. So if you
Mhm.
weighed 150 pounds, then you would add 1.5 teaspoons to your glass of water.
Mhm.
And that's a booster drink. You drink that first thing in the morning. And then the third part of the protocol developed by this medical doctor, um, who, by the way, he was a cancer surgeon. And he has brought over 50,000 cancer patients to complete remission with these minerals. But the third part of the protocol is that what we call a mineral bath, and that's where you fill up a bathtub of water, warm to hot water, and you put in 3 to 5 tablespoons of the minerals, and you get in there and you soak for half an hour, 45 minutes. And it's these three treatments, three methods that have, oh, I have so many stories I can tell of people that's using these. That's amazing.
Well,
But
it's
yes, you're right.
yeah, it sounds like to me also that if you just get a cut from whatever, that you could just soak, say, your hand or your foot or whatever, and it should help it in the healing process too, then, right? Any cut?
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you about myself. Um, I was working on uh, my porch and putting in some new pieces of wood in my uh, porch ceiling, and I had one of these large, long. Well, it was a 4 foot long iron clamp that I was using to hold the ceiling parts together. And
Hmm.
when I put the last one in and it clicked into position, that it freed up that clamp, and that clamp fell down right on my head, right on my face, right on. I was wearing glasses, and it pushed um, the metal part that goes right over my nose. It pushed it right to the bone.
Ooh.
And oh, I was bleeding profusely. And I immediately went up to my bathroom where I have a small bottle of the minerals that I then put the minerals directly on that. I washed it off and got it as clean as I could with cold water. And then I put the minerals right across my nose. And I got it to stop the bleeding. And I called my wife at the hospital and I said, honey, what happened to me? She's, oh, Fred, the plastic surgeon is here right now. You come up, he could go ahead and take care of that for you. And I said, well, no, I don't need it. It stopped bleeding. Well, you know, you can't even, if you look at my nose real close, you can't even see a scar. You can't see anything. It completely healed that up.
Wow.
And that was immediately from then. And I have other stories of that too, of bleeding, stopping the bleeding, and so on. So you're right, DJ. It helps tremendously.
Well, amazing. It does all this. And can you only imagine taking it internally, what it's doing in the body? I mean, for every cell in the body, how it's detoxification, that it's cleansing the body basically.
Remember, I told you when I first started, things happened to me.
Mm.
So I'll share what happened to me. The bottoms of my feet turned
Ooh.
pitch black, and you couldn't wash it off. And I wonder what in the world caused that. You know, it was only after I started drinking the minerals. Well, when I went to the doctor said, "Well, what caused that?" Is the heavy metals that's being forced out of your body through the bottoms of your feet. When I was a little boy, I used to love to go to the junkyards and gather these large thermometers, and I
Ooh.
would break the bulb on those large thermometers and play with that silver mercury, and I would run it around in my palm of my hand like a steel ball bearing. But it was
Mm.
liquid. It was fun. I had no idea I was poisoning my body. And my body had accumulated that in all these years. And finally, you know, when I was 65 years old and started on the minerals, bottom of my feet started ejecting all this mercury that was stored in my body. And it lasted maybe less than a week, but then my feet turned, you know, pink again and they were normal and I was fine. And so, yeah, that's just one of the things that happened
So
with me.
So that's amazing because the heavy metals right now are as so toxic to people. And, of course, we can go into other things like your parasites and what have you, but that is,
Yes.
Fred, you're going to have to come back because I know you not only have more stories, but there's already so many other uses for your product. And we're ending the rest of the show here, but if you can come back as soon as possible so we can go into more detail on this and all the other uses of your super mineral water. And I wanted to let the audience know too, we almost forgot that your two bottle sizes, we have a discount code for everybody watching. And that discount code is basically pure energy, just pure energy, all one word at checkout. And you can put that in for a discount. Now, Fred's website is VitalaUSA.com. Now, he is global. USA was, I guess, something, Fred, that you got a long time ago, but now he is global. He does ship to other parts of the world. And so Vitala is VITALA USA.com. And again, the discount code is pure energy, all one word, and that'll give you the discount for your products. And Fred, do you have anything else to say before we end the show? And I'm so sad that we have to go now. Your stories are absolutely amazing.
Well, yeah, there are so many things to share, you know, and thing is, it's not just humans. Oh my, I have many animal stories as well, and I have plant stories. You see what happened in my garden when I started adding these minerals to the soil. So
Uh,
anyway, maybe
we're
next
gonna
time I can share some of that with you.
Definitely. Let's go into that. Definitely. Let's plan a time and we'll do this. And thank you, Fred, so much for being here today. This was so excited. I'm so glad that we got this out to the audience. Like, again, I use this product twice a day. And I noticed too, and Fred, I don't know if you mentioned this, but after I do the booster, which is, 8 to 20 drops depending, and afterwards I have so much energy.
Yes.
I never drink any caffeine. So I actually have this is like my coffee drink in the morning. I wake up, I get my glass of water, 8 ounces. I put about 10 to 20 drops in there. I drink it down really fast. I drink it down right away. I don't sip on it. And I have energy for hours because I'm so hydrated. I feel so great. Of course, it's detoxing my body a bit too, and it's amazing. So, Fred, we'll have you back soon. I want to tell my audience too, may all your dreams become your reality and come back again and join us for our next show. And thank you again, Fred. Thank
You're
you.
very welcome. Thank you.
Thanks.